Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to HotFix. This is going to be, and thank you for watching HotFix. I'm going to go and play more Overwatch. See you later. Bye-bye. That's a lie. I'm not going anywhere.
I was sitting there like, what? You've just brought me off Overwatch to tell me that? I want to go back to it.
Welcome to HotFix, our laser-focused... what are you?
The Axeman cometh with his laser axe. You know what? I've not actually played Guitar Hero. I just keep picking it up and like swinging it around, especially when I stream.
Yeah, I've seen you do
like
crazy
I think my webcam just stopped. What the hell happened?
It's fine,
there?
whatever.
Just capitulated.
Soldier on. Which is our laser-focused video game discussion podcast.
Look, it's flashing.
Oh my god. Use me. Play me. No, fuck off and play an Overwatch. This week, we have, I assume, sir, a number of names to read out from Patreon, because if you support us via Patreon, which you can do by clicking link up there and link down there, you get a shout out at the next hotfix, which is a delightful and wondrous thing. So Star is going to reel off a list of 1,000 names.
And I'm going to change this as well. I'm going to change it on the fly because I've just noticed a thing which can be done. If you are a Patreon supporter, you can send messages through, and I get the messages in the same feed as I get the donation pledge things. So if you would like to say something short, then I may read it out. If you send me a massive paragraph of hate, I will not read it out. So without further ado, Mr. Kirioth, here we go. Jordan Martin, thank you very much for increasing your pledge. What a hero. SP Shepherd, thank you very much for the pledge. Scott Jones, Spelcom, very much for the pledge. It was all
Spelkin very much for the pled.
It was all going so well with nice, easy to read names, and now we get to Kazralalk. Thank you for the very generous pledge. Clem Davis, that's an easy one. Thank you for the pledge. Got the support. Clem's made a post. Take my money. Okay, we'll take your money. Okay. Nathan Warren. Thank you for the support. Nathan Warren has made a post. Double dose of unit loss podcast every week. Love it. Hero. Not sure. Pledged. Supported. Thank you. Grush P supported. You see, I keep saying pledge because that's what it says. So now I'm not going to say supported. I'm going to say pledged. Okay. Right. Okay. Because I'm getting confused.
It's Ramlum changes.
Ramlum. Ram-LRM.
Yeah, Ramlum.
Thank you for the support. Ramlum. Thank you for the support. Ryan Mann. Thank you for the support. Or the pledge. Christ. Tim Carey. Thank you for the support. A new post by Col. Sty, you cabbage. It wasn't Colonel R. It was Collar, as in my surname starts with an R. I've changed it to avoid confusing you further, but given how you were mangling it and other people's names, I'm not going to complain too much. Other than that, love it. Toodles. Rear Admiral, don't laugh, Cole, to use my proper military designation. Right. Are you really an Admiral? I don't think so. Rebecca Wake. Thank you for the support, the pledge, whatever. Tom Collier. Are you a minor? Welcome. Thank you for the support. Mitchell McCroby. Oh, yes. Thank you for the support. Oh, no. No. This is a name with funny symbols in. Matasius Stroroskian.
I'm gonna put actual money down and say that's not how that's pronounced.
Thank you for the support. Matus Strioziken. You know who you are. Thank you for the support. DJ Stalin. Thank you for the support. Volkweisen. Thank you for the support. Whenever I see Weiss or anything like that, I instantly turn German. And then finally to end it.
I don't know if that's how Germans actually speak.
Finally to end it, we've got Scott Patrick. Thank you for a normal name. Guys, thank you for the support. Mr. Kirioth, if you would like to get me out of this hellhole with how can people support if they really love the show, and please do. $1.
Yes, if you absolutely love HotFix and you love the podcast and you love the way that we do it and how we do it and why we do it, you like listening to it every single week and worship it on bended knee, then you can support. There's a link up there in the corner. There's a link down there in the description. Like that. Sort the cables out, son. What is going on back
No,
there?
mate. I was promised trunking, but it's never arrived.
Then you can support via Patreon, and if you think to yourself, well, all I have is $1 a month to spare, then still do it, because $1 a month makes a massive difference, and the fact that so many people are doing $1 a month means that we can keep doing the shows, because without Patreon, we wouldn't be able to do it, because it's massively time-consuming, and it takes up a significant portion of my week every single week. So, if you help support the show, it continues on.
$1 equals 60 pence equals about 80 cents. Is that what the euro thing is? I don't know. What could you buy for that? In this country, for 60 pence,
you'd be looking to get a bloody chocolate bar for 60 pence.
You can't even buy a chocolate bar anymore. You couldn't even buy a Mars bar.
I'm pretty sure it's like 64 pence for a chocolate bar. Is Unit
Lost worth 3/4 of a Mars bar to you this month? If it is, $1, let's go.
3/4 of a Mars bar.
I actually had a mini Mars bar this month.
You know what? Can that be the new channel slogan? Unit Lost, worth at least 3/4 of a Mars bar.
No, it can't be. If you suggest that again, you're fired. Moving on.
So we're going to go straight into. I'm going to call it the worst story of the week, because it's infuriating and it's irritating, but it involves the UK press, and in fact, just any press as a whole can be infuriating. We're just going to go straight to it. I'm just going to read off the article. I'll do it quickly so you get a good idea of what's going on. And then we can have a nice chat about it in a reasonable fashion, obviously. So, UK tabloids point the finger at Call of Duty GTA in coverage of 15-year-old TalkTalk hacker. Right, deep breath. The UK tabloids this morning reported that the 15-year-old arrested for hacking TalkTalk was a violent video game addict who wanted to be a professional Call of Duty player.
What a shock it's on the Daily Mail.
Yeah, fancy that. The Daily Mail's front page called the boy a baby-faced loner who rarely leaves his bedroom.
Is he describing Kiri?
It's worth pointing out that this kid's 15 years old. Who the fuck isn't a baby face at 15 years old? The paper looked at the boy's blog and used it to accuse him of being obsessed with violent video games such as Grand Theft Auto. The boy from Ballymena in Northern Ireland spent hours playing violent video games such as Call of Duty, Resident Evil and Grand Theft Auto from the age of 10, the Mail claims, much like every fucking child his age in this generation. The Mail also picked up on the boy's aspiration to become a professional Call of Duty player, filthy casual, and printed pictures of Call of Duty, killing, GTA, criminal mayhem and Resident Evil. Ghoulish violence.
Ghoulish?
Ghoulish. The Mail's narrative portrays the boy as a loner who is addicted to violent video games. It then describes Call of Duty gameplay, mentioning a scene in which the player causes a tube train to derail and explode. It also mentions... we'll go back to all of this. It also mentions Norwegian mass killer Anders Breivik claimed he had trained himself to kill his 77 victims by playing Call of Duty. Which,
this is unbelievable.
Again, that staggers me. The Mail then goes on to discuss esports, which it says sees games played in competitions, watched by thousands in arenas, and broadcast to millions online, like all other sports. There's also a description of Grand Theft Auto, with the expected reference to picking up prostitutes, having sex with them before beating them to death, because hacking a fucking mobile provider is exactly the same as doing that, obviously. Resident Evil also comes under fire. The Mail says Capcom's horror series was a favourite for Aaron Alexis, the US gunman who killed 12 in 2013 at a Washington naval base. The Daily Mail does not mention it has asked Activision, Rockstar or Capcom for comment on the story. Eurogamer has approached the publishers to see if they wish to respond. Capcom declined, but their community manager, Neil Gorton, took to Twitter to express his personal opinion. Daily Mail blaming Resi for some kid hacking a network. No doubt TalkTalk security involves moving statues and a medallion to open doors. But it goes on. The Sun also goes with the story of the reclusive TalkTalk hacker on its front page, but waits until page 5 before mentioning he wanted to become a professional Call of Duty player because he's a filthy casual. He told Web Pals he wants to be a professional gamer playing violent war game Call of Duty.
Web Pals?
I know.
My Web Pals?
My Web Pals.
Fuck?
Despite losing 26 of his 28 battles, the Sun reports.
So he said he played 20. He said he played 28 games.
He's addicted to Call of Duty, bloke. He's played 28 multiplayer games of Call of Duty.
Mate, I've played 2,800 games of Overwatch in 2 days. What's this casual?
Both reports relegate claims the boy suffered from learning disabilities, ADHD, and behavioural problems. To
everyone's got ADHD. This fucking
Neither report highlights the issue of parental responsibility. The broadsheets are more reserved in their coverage, but the Daily Telegraph also runs with the gamer angle, both in a small story at the root of its front page and a large report on page 13, which carries the headline, Gaming-Obsessed Teenager Held Over Talk Hack. The Telegraph also mentions the teenager wants to become a professional Call of Duty player. I don't think that's going to happen now somehow. Although, have you seen some of those players shout at each other? It's entirely possible still. The Independent and the Guardian downplay the gamer angle further. The Independent mentions in passing the teenagers described themselves as a keen video game player. The Guardian fails to mention video games at all. Well done, the Guardian. No, I'll give the Independent as well. They only mention it in passing. The Guardian don't mention it at all. Congratulations, well done. The Talk hacker story is yet another example of the UK tabloids pushing the loner violent video game addict angle in its reporting of real-world crime. And there is a long list of times that they've done it before. I won't go through all of that because I think we've probably read enough of the article to get a significant background into what the fuck's going on. And basically what it is a bunch of ignorant old fucks are currently inhabiting editorial seats at these newspapers. And they dislike change, and they dislike anything that threatens their position of being able to tell people how the world works. And so when a 15-year-old, who, like all other fucking 15-year-olds in the developed world, likes playing video games, does something that is not really on, obviously, it's because of the video games and no other reason whatsoever. It's nothing to do with upbringing. It's nothing to do with societal
nothing to do with the fact that he's being brought up by a single parent.
Nothing to do with maybe, as they say, perhaps ADHD or behavioural issues. Nothing like that. It is entirely because he's addicted to Call of Duty, having played 28 fucking online games, online matches of Call of Duty. Which, for a start, how did they even get that? And secondly, he's addicted to 28 games. He's taking the piss.
If this kid has hacked Talk, right, I don't know. Is it a MySQL injection, I think, was the method that was used. I was watching the news, right, and Rory Kethlin-Jones is the BBC news technology reporter, right? Now, the BBC, they're not like, they don't say, oh, he's a violent video game addict, blah, 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 and all that shit. But he said, okay, so Talk security, apparently it was a method that they shouldn't have been open to that kind of attack. Obviously, if it's a database, I think MySQL injections are a way of getting in. I mean, I don't know much about this, guys, but I know that I don't think they're too hard to do. But they were saying, oh, it was a DDoS attack. That's what caused the hack. And I'm thinking, a DDoS just takes websites down. That's not a hack. That's just sending traffic to a site. Anyway, I'm thinking this is not really very accurate what this guy's saying. He's supposed to be the technology reporter, but whatever. I mean, maybe he is. Maybe I'm getting confused. But my understanding of it is a DDoS is just sending traffic to something to flood the connection, and it just takes the sites off. It doesn't result in a hack. So I don't know what the hack is. But if this kid has been able to do it at the age of 15, he's clearly got something about himself mentally. So
yeah,
hats off to him in that respect. It's quite clever, I guess. But the whole fucking gaming thing is so retarded. You never ever see, the kid liked Terminator 2. He used to watch that all the time.
This is
when you push this even further out into the into America. I mean, I always remember when I've only experienced American television once. When I went to the Dominican Republic, they had all the American television channels on, and it was a ludicrous time in the morning. It was like 8:30 in the morning. I turned on the TV, and Stallone Cobra was on. Now, that's violent as fuck, and he's just killing people. And I'm like, this is the morning, and it had like breakfast cereal adverts were like, because he kept having a break every 10 minutes. It was really annoying. And I remember lying in the bed watching it, thinking, what? And then the adverts would come on. It'd be like, get your Frosties or whatever. And I'm like, I'm watching a film here of ultra violence. What? But you never see that reference, do you? You never see like, oh yes,
no,
everyone's exposed to all these violent films and all this crap, whatever.
Well,
but no, it's games. You see, because when you play games, bro, it's you doing the killing. Like that Andres fucking Breivik. I mean, the guy's a wanker and he should have been executed for what he did. I'm sure he said something like he played Call of Duty, like he played World of Warcraft and he played Call of Duty because he knew he was going to go to prison forever. So he was just getting a bit of like fun before he went and killed a load of people. Now, he deserves to be taken away and got rid of, right? But he did not train on Call of Duty.
This is the
How
other
can
thing
you
as
train?
well.
Like, do people honestly believe? Do these old fogies out there, these arsewipes, honestly believe that through playing an FPS game on a computer, you are somehow military trained through playing Call of Duty, which is quite possibly one of the worst FPS games when it comes to mechanics. The guns have no recoil. Apparently, I can get an AK-47. Here's my AK. I can get my AK-47. I know how to reload it. I don't know how to reload an AK-47, but I guess it can't be too hard. I can aim it, Mr. Kirioth, like this. Yeah. Fire. All my shots will hit the target. Full auto. And then I'll reload.
This is the other thing as well.
I'm fully trained, bloke. I'm fully trained.
When people say things like
Counter-Strike,
"Oh, he trained playing Call of Duty, he trained playing Battlefield or whatever," you cannot train holding a weapon from any game unless the game provides you with a realistic, accurate in terms of weight, shape, mass.
Wait until the VR stuff comes out. Fucking hell, they'll go crazy then, because people will sell gun controllers. It'll be like, fucking hell, this guy's trained on it. Look at him. Look at the video of him on YouTube. Look at this Stylosa guy.
At the very least, fucking wait until that happens. Saying that someone will learn how to fucking field strip a pistol from watching Call of Duty. Are you fucking kidding me? What are they going to learn from that?
This used to happen years back, didn't it?
Is this what
with music? Remember? You remember with like the Columbine stuff, where they even brought Doom into that, didn't they? But it was music, wasn't it? It was like, oh, Marilyn Manson, oh God, or Eminem even happened. It was like, oh, he's telling you to go and kill people. It's like, what? What the hell? You have to be unhinged to think. If I start singing a song to Kiri about chopping off a midget's legs with a midget saw from Hailstorm, Kiri's got to be seriously unhinged to then go to run down the street with a saw in hand, a hacksaw, find a midget and cut him up.
Here's the thing, it's nothing to do with the music. Unstable. It's nothing to do with the music, and it's everything to do with the individual. And that's why this kind of thing is really, like, I say it's funny. It's funny in the way that you can't but help laugh at ignorance sometimes. And when you see this kind of sensationalized kind of just I mean, the headline, the front page of that Daily Mail paper, they're calling a 15-year-old kid baby-faced.
Baby-faced hacker who paralysed a phone giant.
He's fucking 15 years old. Of course he's baby-faced. How many 15-year-olds do you know with, like, weathering lines and fucking full beards? It doesn't happen because he's 15 years old. That's just what they look like. I mean, for fuck's sake. And
if I had a kid and he had a full beard at the age of 15, I'd be proud of him.
But it's like, and also things like, oh, and he plays violent video games. Yeah? Welcome to the last 10 years of gaming. Welcome. I mean, our fucking generation were playing violent video games when we were like his age. They just didn't look as good. So what the fuck is going on?
The thing is,
although I will say something that I realise I shouldn't have thought it at the time, but it did kind of make me laugh when it was Anders, wasn't it? Anders Breivik.
Yeah.
When it was like he killed 77 people. That's obviously horrendous. But when it was talking about how he was trained on Call of Duty, a little part of me, I'm going to be honest here, a little part of me, did he think he was going to get like an airstrike when he got 25 kills or something?
That's bad.
In that context. Because when you look at it like that, it's like, what can you actually get from Call of Duty? Realistically, in terms of training, you're not going to learn how to handle a rifle or a pistol. You're not going to learn how to reload them because you can't see the animation properly. It's not giving details.
In this world,
learn how to strip them, or aim them, or compensate for recoil, or in fact where to buy them, or do anything like that. All you're learning is that if you point your cursor at something and hold a button down, that thing disappears on the screen, and eventually you can call in a helicopter.
You see,
that's not training for anything, is it? That's not.
I would argue this for video games which are violent. I think they're the opposite. They don't incite violence. They're a violent release. So everybody has bad days. You go on a game, you play well, you know, whatever. You do a bit of shooting, a bit of killing. It's fine. That's a bit of an energy release. That's all it is, really. It's like you don't go on to games and be like, oh Christ, I was this calm person. Now I'm an insane murderer, and I want to run around and butcher people. Entertainment, the idea of like fantasy. I mean, fucking hell. Why don't people go after Game of Thrones, bro? That's out in mass media. Game of Thrones promotes rape, promotes murder, promotes just taking what you like, promotes more rape, promotes more rape, promotes
more murder.
More murder. Yeah, promotes the worst possible things possible. Also promotes
sacrificing your family for power, for instance.
Yeah, and promotes that if you're an absolute wanker, you'll just get everything. So why is that not being slammed? Oh, because it's fantasy. Because it's not real. Oh, you mean like a video game's not real? Oh,
and the double standard for certain, like the double standard as well for specific instances. Like it says in the article that in Call of Duty, It shows an underground train being derailed.
So does James Bond.
I was going to say,
yeah, Quantum of Solace shows it. I think
it was Skyfall.
No,
wasn't it?
Skyfall. Yeah.
So apparently, if it happens in James Bond, it's fine. It's not a problem, despite the fact that that is like when I say it's real, it's a it's a film, so it's
realistic
cinematic.
looking.
So you've got it's an actual train. It's not a
Although
computer-generated thing.
That scene is really weird because there's nobody on the train, but it's a train in motion. It's like we ran out of budget, boys, to put CGI people on.
But it's like pinpoint that. That's fine. Talking about things like, oh, well, in Grand Theft Auto, you can pick up prostitutes and then beat them to death. Let's just casually gloss over the vast amounts of like misogyny that goes on in films and TV. None of that's important. That doesn't make any difference. That's totally irrelevant. I mean, you could grow up watching James Bond and think it's perfectly fine to just go around fucking anything that moves and not caring if they get killed, or indeed killing them yourself. That's not a problem. Continue doing that because James Bond's a hero. But in GTA, that's not acceptable. You're not allowed to pick women up and then hurt them. Oh, no. People do it in films and TV all the time. But you can't do it in GTA because that's just too far. It doesn't make any sense because the parallels are exactly the same. And for all the stuff where people say, oh, well, the difference is you're controlling the character. You are, but you're still not the person doing it. You are controlling a character in a fictional environment on a system that is simulating something that is not real. If you did that, and then immediately the first thing that happened, the first time someone did that, was they went out, picked up a prostitute, and then beat her head with a baseball bat, then I would argue, yes, perhaps there is a problem there. But that's never fucking happened. No one has put down GTA 5 and just gone, oh, well, I'm just going to go out and cruise the red light district. And the fact that we've had so many papers and so many studies saying, no, violent video games don't cause violence. They just don't.
All you've got is this little, well, I say microcosm. It's not. What annoys us is the fact that these papers and websites and God knows what, they're mass media.
Yeah,
they
like
reach a lot of people. So, but I mean, when's the last time you bought a paper? When was the last time you bought the Daily Mail, Mr. Kirioth? I mean, honestly,
I've literally never bought a paper.
Our generation don't do it.
No.
Our parents do, and their parents, if they're still alive, do, and their brothers and sisters do, and they're like, all of them are 50 plus. They buy into this crap, and dickheads, the editors at Daily Mail, they know this. So for them to come out with this, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I can remember my dad saying to me when I was playing Day of Defeat, like he was like, "What are you playing?" And I showed him what I was playing, and he was like, he was like, "Well, what the hell is this? It looks a bit violent," you know what I mean? And I'm like, "Well, I'm shooting Nazis. It kind of is violent," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I can remember having discussions with him, but he was never like, "Oh no, my son's turned into he's going to be a murderer. I best disconnect the internet or not let him play on these games." No, am I a murderer? No. It's 99.9999999% of people who play games murderers? No.
Especially
it's ridiculous.
Given that
it just needs to go away.
The angle that's pushed
the whole
is that these are young loners, these are young men who lock
it's
themselves
always
in
young
their basements.
Men. Yeah.
They lock themselves in their bedrooms.
No-lifers, baby-faced.
Yeah, they play violent games all day, every day. They do nothing
They're so
else.
Frustrated, and they're just going to kill.
And it's like, that's what snaps them over the edge. They're playing violent video games, and then they're like, I'm going to go out and do this for real. Completely ignoring the fact that the gaming demographic, I'd say there is no gaming demographic because people of all ages play games. There are people in their fucking 50s who are coming home and playing games. There are people who come home from their day at the office, 40 plus years and above, who sit down and they log on Destiny. And you know what? They ain't gone round killing people in the cubicles during a bad day at work doing IT support. They ain't done that because there's no fucking link whatsoever. And the thing that really frustrates me is that every now and again, we have this big push by the traditional media, by the papers, by the tabloids, by the broadsheets, and it's all, it's all down to violent video games and stuff. Completely ignoring the fact that whenever something happens that involves death or violence and the perpetrator is a single person, we hear nothing but that person's name for weeks and weeks and weeks.
And then they dig them up every couple of months.
Yeah,
it's like,
every single facet of their life.
Article with Brevik, whatever his name is. I forgot about that guy.
Every single facet of their life is stripped open, it's stripped bare, it's laid out, and it's like, this is what he did 2 months before he went on the killing spree. You can see the back of his head at a ping pong tournament. And it's like, so hang on. Apparently violent video games are responsible for people going out and killing other people. But you glorifying mass murderers over and over again, when every psychologist who's been consulted about this, everyone who is even remotely, knowledgeable about how the human mind works has told you not to do this. Apparently it's the games. It's not the press. It's not the glorification. It's not the fact that every time someone goes out and murders a bunch of people, you say, this person killed this many people. Compared to last year's shooting, this person killed this many people. You're building a fucking scoreboard for people with severe mental illnesses who seem to think that killing people is the way out. And then you sit there and go, oh, it's all about the games. No, it's not. It's about providing a massive spotlight for people who think they're going to martyr themselves. It's providing statistics so they know how many people to kill to beat the previous person who has killed far too many people already. And then sitting there and absolving yourself of all blame, going, we're just imparting the information. Well, you could do that by simply saying there has been a shooting, there have been this many victims, we are not going to release details of the killer's name. Because that's what every fucking person with any authority on the subject says you can do. But they don't. Instead, they splash it all over the front pages. Then they go after the person's family. They go and interview their sister who's heartbroken and can't believe they've done it. They chase the fucking parents round for years on end trying to get details. They go through archives of footage, photos, blog posts, Facebook, everything they can get their hands on. They hack fucking mobile phones in the past to get details on these people and then go, oh, but it's all about the games. Fuck off. It's you, it's them. It's not anything to do with games. There's been countless studies showing that you should not in any way link violent video games with violent behaviour. And you know what? There's been multiple people who've said that you shouldn't glorify mass murderers. And yet, for some reason, these fucking tabloids and this shitty networks are still glorifying mass murders. I mean, when you look at... When was the last one? I can't remember what happened. I think it was the last one that happened in America. The guy who went and killed a reporter in the field. And was it a cameraman as well?
Oh, yeah. It was like in a small town. I remember it. Yeah.
And the police chief...
a golf club or somewhere.
Yeah, the police chief said, I'm pretty sure it was that one, it said, we are not going to release the killer's name. And I think I'm a bit hazy on the details.
I've got the details here. Yeah, it was CNN, I think it was.
That was it.
And they were like, the woman was standing there and she's like, but we have exclusively the name of the killer. And then she started, and it was like...
And then
That's what he wanted.
They were dredging up all
what he
kinds
wanted.
of shit.
He's dead. He don't care. But the other wankers who were going to do it see that and like recognition, and then they go and do it.
That's how you get in the
fucking
spotlight.
terrible.
And
exactly.
And for whatever whatever reason, we know the reason. It's because that stuff sells papers. It gets views on networks. It gets views online, and that earns them money, and that's their big concern. And as long as they can continue finding a scapegoat for it, when really they need to address their own fucking shit behaviour, they're going to keep blaming video games because it's the easiest target. It's the youngest of the media. In terms of interactive entertainment, it's the youngest. It's still
the most uncontrollable because you look at us, we're spawned off the back of this, and we don't sit like you can't just sit there as a paper and spout shit to people, and they've got no way of replying to you because when it comes to games and all the new forms of media, all the new media which is popped up around it responds pretty much instantly. I mean, look at us, we're responding straight away, saying, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah. It's really infuriating, and it doesn't make it any less infuriating to know that there's something that the people who are actually printing this could do, but they're not going to because that would mean giving up their position of power where they are. That's all it is. They've got a lockdown on this kind of information and how it's spread and how much gets to the public, and they know that the more they give to the public, the more attention they get. And the thing is, they're also in a position to tell the public that actually it's games. It's not them. It's not glorifying these people that's causing this kind of thing. I mean, this whole conversation's obviously come off the back of just someone hacking Talk. It's not on the same scale, but the symptom of the response is exactly the same. It's still
almost like they haven't had to shout at games for a while, and it's sort of news a bit slow. He's a violent babyface gaming loner. His name's Kirioth.
How dare you, sir? We're not that violent. But yeah, we'll leave that.
He's
now.
a baby-faced assassin. That's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He was a Man United player, and he used to call him the baby-faced assassin because when he was like 30, he looked 15. Yeah, he was the baby-faced assassin.
Why assassin?
Because he would never start the game. Because I'll tell you why. He was a forward, and he'd hardly ever play a full game. He'd just sit on the bench looking crazy with his baby face. And when you needed a goal, you just put him on and he'd go and score. Because he was an assassin, like he'd come on and score. Google him, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the baby-faced assassin. Ollie
I cannot spell. How
I can. Here we go. I'll show you.
Jesus Christ.
Here he is.
So you didn't send him on to snap other players then? Just go in.
No, he
Take him out.
assassinated the other teams. Here's the link. Here we go. It's from the Daily Mail. It's from the Daily Mail. Oh. There you go. Look, there you go. At that time, he was 72.
I'll just that is, what's his name? The babyface assassin at the age of 72.
But yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Actually, he's wrote a book called Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the baby-faced assassin. So there you go. There you go, bro.
He's going to be remembered like that, like years after he's dead. It's going to be the baby-faced assassin.
What a hero!
Hitman would not have been as cool a title if it was called the baby-faced assassin, would it?
Football's got loads of stupid names. So there was one, Shearer and oh my god, I forgot his bloody name. But they were called the SAS. Because the other guy was called the S, and they were the SAS.
Christ.
Stupid bloke. What? I forgot his name. Bail me out, quick! Bail me out.
I've got nothing. Change
the subject. No, change the subject. Twat.
Moving on to. No. Wait. I was coming up with a segue. So I was going to say, you can't remember the name of the guy. It begins with S.
Sutton.
But there's another. I was giving you time as well. But there's a bit of news that begins with S. Anyway, South by Southwest. Shut up. South by Southwest,
which is right,
has cancelled online
no.
harassment panel because of harassment. So, okay.
So this is a big music festival, isn't it, in America?
It's music, it's film. It's massive. So online harassment is a real world problem. You don't need to look any further than a cancelled South by Southwest interactive panel for more reasons. Why? Citing numerous threats of violence, the South by Southwest planning team has annulled Level Up Overcoming Harassment in Games. Oh dear. At next March's event, according to an email sent to panelists that was obtained by Jezebel.
Yeah, that's that fucking stupid Gawker site, yeah.
What's more, the festival has cancelled a pro Gamergate panel dubbed Save Point, a discussion on the gaming community. That sounds like a fun day out, doesn't it? An official statement from the organisers say that since announcing the two panels,
Level Up Overcoming Harassment in Games. What were they? Right.
Since announcing the two panels, they've been inundated with threats of on-site violence, and in the interest of keeping the marketplace of diverse people and diverse ideas, their words, safe, the best way to do that was to simply not act as a venue for the discussions. Maintaining civil and respectful dialogue within the big tent is more important than any particular session, the statement
Do they not understand that when an internet hardman says he's going to kill you and die of cancer, that he is a 15-year-old baby-faced assassin living in a bunker? He's not actually going to do that. They don't seem to understand that, do they? We should operate like this. That's it. It's the end of unit lost. I'm going to barricade myself into the shack of Win. I'm going to cut the internet cable because there's about 200 people who are coming to kill me.
Yeah. That No Man's Sky video I did a year ago.
Daily Hitman coming for you, bloke.
Which in no way even said the game was bad or anything, but was just talking about how we don't know enough about it. That is just like filled with hate. Like it overflows with hate. What is it?
With hate.
What is it? The little emote, Salt, ain't it? The little emote on Twitch.
Yes,
people on that video are salty as fuck. They are brimming with sodium. So obviously, I should just never make a video again.
A sodium chloride overdose.
It's so stupid. Especially since, firstly, that one of the panels, the Level Up Overcoming Harassment in Games. Why do these things have Level Up and Save Point in front of them? Anyway,
yeah, because it's gamer.
You know full well that the only reason that someone has sent in threats of violence for a panel called Overcoming Harassment in Games is because they think it would be funny to harass the people organising a panel that is about harassment.
And get this response.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. There is absolutely no intention whatsoever for anyone to go there and commit any act of violence because they're doing it because they think it's funny. It's lol, they're going to try and stop harassment in games. I'm going to harass them, lol, because that's what anonymity on the internet does to some people. And I will say, I have to admit that in a way I'm surprised that that one was cancelled, because that seems to me to be obvious trolling. Obvious troll is obvious, as the internet likes to say. It's blatantly not a real threat. It's someone going, lol, harassment, let's harass them. That's what that is. The other one, the Gamergate panel, that one I mean, as you journey around places like Reddit, as you go around the internet, as you look at things like Twitter, even in the comments of YouTube videos, you'll find them. There are people on either side of the Gamergate debate, and if you dig into a little bit, you will. They're not entirely reasonable. Some of these people, they're not quite on the same level of peaceful communication that I feel most people are, or the same level of sanity. That one probably could end up descending into violence, but not by the people who've made the threat, just by the people attending, because they don't like the people speaking. Because if there's one thing I've learned about Gamergate over the last decade that it's been happening, or whatever the fuck it is, it's that monkeys will fling copious amounts of shit at every opportunity at each other, no matter what anyone tries to do about it. And that side of things, again though, the people making the threats not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything. They just do it. The people who are there might lose their shit and start punching people, but the people making the threats would not do it, because
they don't understand what is a viable threat, though. And I guess with it being an American thing, like, I don't want to just say, oh, because it's America, people have got guns. Yeah, there's going to be some crazy shit going on. I guess they're a little bit more sensitive with security issues. And
yeah,
at the end of the day, if it was a real threat, then I said at the end of the day, but if it was a real threat, then you would be stupid for going ahead with it. I mean, you see at the end of this Engadget article, and it's saying about when Sarkeesian cancelled multiple speeches before. Sometimes you've got to think they probably just cancelled for effect as well, just to get the name out there, just to sell the brand of I am this ultra vulnerable woman who's fighting for female gamers' rights.
Yeah.
In this world of this male-dominated, grotesque world of we'll always save why does Mario have to save Princess Peach? That's not fair. Maybe because it's like, based on old kind of worldy fantasy tales that people have grown up with for hundreds of years.
Tales,
it's
a if you'd eaten mushrooms before you came down to planet.
Well, Mario does eat mushrooms.
Well, yeah, it's just a drug fueled fairy tale. That's all Mario is. Well, look at it. Oh, come on. You're not telling me that it's not just a fairy tale, but it was reimagined by a guy on drugs. You've got a plumber going through a green landscape, fighting little brown alien guys, rescuing a princess from an evil king's castle. It's clear, and he's eating mushrooms. It's clearly drugs. It's clearly drugs.
And then he then he inhales flowers which look like poppies, so they're clearly heroin.
Yeah.
And he starts breathing fire. He's burnt his nostrils.
Yeah, and he goes down pipes.
That's like a metaphor for the pain
he goes
of inhaling.
Down pipes.
You don't inhale heroin through your nose, but whatever.
That's what it is. That's when he goes down the pipes, goes down the crack pipes, ends up in water, a sea of liquid heroin.
Isn't Bowser a dragon? So he's chasing the dragon. There you go. There's another little metaphor for his opiate addiction. He's an addict, ladies and gentlemen. We've cracked it. I've got Mario Maker. I've got that, but I haven't installed it. I've totally got to play that.
Do you need to install it?
Yeah, it's a download on the Wii, but the Wii's there and it ain't plugged in.
It hasn't been plugged in since the Shack of Dreams was built, has it?
No, I played. I played something on it in the Shack of Win.
Did you play Bayonetta 2?
No, I don't think that was the Shack of Win.
Oh,
might have been. I don't know.
But yeah, so this is
no whatever. Yeah.
It's not surprising. It's kind of surprising that they were cancelled, although I guess I had overlooked the fact that it is taking place in the US, which, I mean, let's be honest here, they're not having the best time of it at the moment in terms of safety in public spaces. So the frequency of incidents seems to have gone up considerably over the last year.
It does,
so
but it's only down to the bloody coverage they get and all of that crap.
Yeah,
and other people who are unhinged and want to do it anyway think, oh, I can go out and bang. And
yeah, I don't think anything would have come of this. Although it'd be nice if Gamergate panels weren't hosted, because then maybe it'd go away. Nice.
Why were they even doing it anyway?
Does anyone even know anymore? I don't think anyone even knows. I think it's got beyond the point where people know. Oh God, I don't even. You know what? I don't even know where to go from there because that is a combination of horrendous stories, frankly. Although we could finish off with the final rancid article that I've got for this week. Oh no, there's two.
Oh Christ! I was going to say, just get all the rancidity out of the way.
Okay, we'll do the two rancid articles. The two final horrendous metals.
The final rancid.
The first thing. We're moving on to actual games now because
wow,
the previous two were actually they were sort of mostly. Batman Arkham Knight has been re-released and it's not going well.
Wow. Who would have thought this?
So the 4 people that were waiting for this are going to be disappointed because last night's re-release of the troubled PC version of Batman Arkham Knight tries to fix 2 things. One is the misbehaving technology, and the other is the reputation. The game was pulled off Steam in June after a torrent of complaints, refund requests, and negative customer reviews. No doubt its makers had hoped the Steam reviews would turn positive come this much-anticipated update, but it seems the opposite is happening. The new version has new problems, and then the negative reviews are pouring in once again. So currently it's mixed on Steam, but there are 9,680 reviews and 8,400 positive reviews. Although Steam did say that all of the reviews were for a pre-release version, but they've actually stopped that now. They've got rid of that label because quite a few of the reviews are new and just identify new problems. Of which, while there is probably some degree of kicking a man when he's down, Arkham Knight's re-release, is most certainly not in the robust shape it should have been after all this time. There's some sort of issue with paging, which means the official advice is to restart the game if it stutters under Windows 7, much like I just did. While Windows 10 players are advised to have at least 12 gigabytes of RAM. No other game, to the best of my knowledge, has that requirement. On top of that, there's no official SLI or Crossfire support, and people without ridiculous systems are reporting all sorts of other issues too, including crashes and low frame rates. This does seem poor form after 3 theoretical months of fixing, especially when the new release has made a point of putting a ton of paid DLC up for sale. Shouldn't the base game have been sorted out before being nickel and dimed? So we won't read the rest of the article because it's just opinion,
so you remember when we said a while back, you know what, you've got to... Oh man. The Arkham series, right? Asylum, fantastic. City, slightly less fantastic, but still pretty good. Origins, not made by Rocksteady, so I thought that was shite.
Yeah.
And here comes the big one. The big one, bloke. Big bad Arkham Knight. Here it comes to save the day. Launches.
You get a tank.
It's a disgrace. Yeah, but it's a disgrace. It's unplayable. Okay.
It's bad.
And then we said, how can they fix this? Because they've got an IP, and they've got a game series they've made of this IP, which is awesome. The best superhero games there were. We said, why don't they give away one of the actual Batman films on Steam? Because we know you can do that on Steam. When we the game was shit, let's re-release it. Here you go. Here's Batman, whatever.
Go the
one
Mad
with
Max
Keith
route.
Ledger in. Exactly. We said this. Why don't you do that? Instead, what they've done is re-release the game that isn't fixed, but with a load of paid DLC, and haven't actually apologized to anyone or give anybody any incentive to go back. So what is this about? This is called being an absolute shitter of massive proportions. Also, what have they been doing for 4 months through the game? Well, I think I know what they've been doing for 4 months through the game. They know it's a dead end. So they probably had one guy working on it.
Yeah,
and he was probably working on it part-time.
Barry. Have you finished that test you work on the other game? Yeah.
Barry, hey, Barry. How you doing, Barry? He's like, boss.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm doing, but the game's like, it's using 12 gig of RAM. Is that all right? He's like, yeah, it's all right, Barry.
It's all right, Barry. Just carry on, Barry. It's fine.
More's better, Barry.
12 gig of RAM. Now, I'm sorry, but there might be people. Okay, so I mean, we have a good number of people who watch this show, so we will have a diverse range of
how much RAM do you have?
Surely, I've got
8 gig, ain't it?
I've got 16.
Oh, you're 16, like okay.
But I've got 16 gig because I encode videos every day, and I record this podcast and the other podcast and all kinds of stuff. Most people don't have 16 gig of RAM. Most people have 8 gig of RAM. 8 gig of RAM is pretty much the standard. Even the guy writing the article on Rock Paper Shotgun, he's got a GTX 970, a 4 gig i7, 4 gigahertz, sorry, i7, and 8 gig of RAM, because that's kind of that's the bare of what you need. You don't really need more than that. For Arkham Knight to be fixed and require 12 gig of RAM is not clever.
I mean, for it to have no SLI support and all of that is retarded
as well.
But I have no want to play this game anymore.
No.
Like at the time it came out in a great window. There wasn't really that much coming out at that time. I was gagging for it, and I remember I got it, I installed it, and I was like,
yeah,
what? This can't be real. This cannot be real. Maybe they'll patch it quick, but no, the damage was severe, and the game was it was just a disaster. Even in the Rock Paper Shotgun article, they say, unless you've got a super rig, the game's unplayable. Well, it was pretty much in that state before anyway. Unless you had a super, super high-end computer, the game was unplayable, in my opinion. People were sending me messages on YouTube. I don't know what you're talking about, the game's playable. Are you off your head?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. No. It's just unfathomable. I love that word. It's just ridiculous.
Unfathomable.
It's unfathomable.
They've done massive damage to the franchise now for PC players. They've absolutely wrecked themselves with it. I don't think there's going to be any faith in another Arkham title, the PC crowd, because people bought it. It didn't work. They waited for months and months and months for it to be re-released so they could buy it, only to find that it still doesn't work. At least it still doesn't work, and if you've got anything less than 12 gig of RAM, which that is something actually where when you said I've not seen any other game that requires this, I was thinking about it, and I did have a quick look on Steam and have a look at like some of the bigger titles. There's like nothing that is like minimum requirements is 12 gig of RAM. No game asks for that.
I don't even think Ashes of the Singularity requires that, and that's it's the first DirectX 12 game that's been launched, and it has warnings all over it saying you need an extremely high-end system to play this, and I'm pretty sure that only says you need 8 gig.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything where minimum specs were that, because that's what they're saying. They're saying it's minimum specs.
To be fair, no, it says minimum. Yeah, well, okay, minimum specs 8 gig of RAM, but recommended 16.
Yeah, but I mean this is minimum. It's like 12. Yeah. Otherwise, your game stutters in Windows 10. So GG. I mean, it is, as you say, unfathomable.
Ow, I just kicked my desk. That does not move because it's bolted to the wall. It cuts my leg every time I do it. But a game's got worth. Yeah, because it's like a solid block of beach. This, again, like we're just laughing at a game for ludicrous bloody recommended specs, and then I'm going to applaud a game for ludicrous recommended specs of i7, 16 gig of RAM, a 4 gig, DirectX 12, NVIDIA, or R9 390 equivalent graphics card. I'm pretty sure
mine isn't for my graphics card. Ain't
no, bloke, because these are like 970s and above. Mine isn't. Mine's 3 gig.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, worth. It's about time there's something of worth came out. We had to upgrade the computer.
But that's because this is a brand new game that's massive and is being designed specifically for this point, whereas Arkham Knight is a fucking console crossover game that was supposed to come out months ago.
That works on the console.
It works on the consoles. I don't understand. I mean, last time I checked, the Xbox One didn't have 12 gig of fucking RAM, did it?
It's got 12 pence of RAM. Remember the guy from who is it? Warner Brothers was like, I noticed you're having a problem with the PC version. Please play the PS4 version. Here's a key. I'm like,
fuck off.
What?
No.
What, mate?
No.
So I've got 2 copies of this game that I'm not going to play.
Please don't play the version that will show that we fucked up that version. Please play the version that works so that people will buy it. No, that's not how it works. How it works.
No.
It's like when you get a game and you get a review guide.
Oh,
those are my favourite modes.
I was showing this off on the stream the other day. So here we go. Undisclosed piece of paper, document, envelope. That's what it's called. So we go into the envelope, and then what do we see? Now this isn't the most ridiculous document I've seen in my life. I've seen really ridiculous documents. This is Guitar Hero. It is a review guide. I mean, you can look at that, right? That's page 1. All right. Page 2.
Mm.
Can you kind of make the text out? I guess you can.
Yeah, just about.
I'm holding that upside down, but...
God.
Do you think I've read that, chat? viewers stream, wherever the hell we are today. I've not read that.
Whatever we are today.
While that is not inherently a review guide, it does not say, focus on this, focus on that. If you look through it, you'll see things that push you in the direction of what you should be doing. You know, it'll say like, here are some key facts about DH Live, and then it'll list a load of things off. So things like, did you know there are 42 songs? Because it wants you to say, hey guys, there's 42 songs in this. You know, you see what I'm saying? But I'm like, I've not even looked at that. I haven't even played the game. But
if you
know,
follow,
whatever, you get that a lot.
Some of the guidelines you get, if you followed them, you would produce the most robotic, monotone kind of presentation.
I think Jim Sterling did a video on it a while back where he showed off one that he got sent because it was a practice which you get emails, you get a key, and you get a PDF be sent with a key, and it'd be like, we want you to talk about this. Please do not talk about this, this, or this. And it's like, you are joking me. Like, we've never once followed one of them because why would you? Because you're thinking, hang on, you're trying to control us. That's ridiculous. It's terrible. Yeah. It is terrible. Anyway, let's move on. So
let's go on to the final
bloody Batman.
The final rancid piece of news.
The final hate crime.
I'd say it's right. Why? This is why, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting
this is the answer to why.
Games Workshop games. This is why. This is the answer to the question we've been asking for so long. What the fuck is going on with Games Workshop? So, remember the olden days before Warhammer video game drought? GOG, that virtuous virtual vendor of vintage video games, god damn it, rock, paper, shotgun, just write the goddamn article, have dug up an artifact from those times, today digitally re-releasing Warhammer 40k Rise of War, which made in 1999, and on the Panzer General 2 engine. If you want, mind you, Armageddon was, what was that? That was a Panzer engine as well, wasn't it? I can't remember.
It's the same sort of style. It's like the hex-based strategy games, like, yeah.
Yeah. So, this is actually to Garma Sutra, but Garma Sutra had a massive, or Gamer Sutra, have you pronounced it? They had a massive interview, which if we went through it, then it would take forever. So we're just going to do the little breakdown by rock, paper, shotgun. As for the wider issue of licensing, Games Workshop chatted about this with Gamer or Garma. Gamma
It's Gamer Sutra.
Gamer. Okay. Gamer. Well,
Gamer Sutra.
Rock, paper, shotgun.
We've had this discussion before because it's like the Karma Sutra.
I know. I always.
Game,
but that's why I say Garma, because it's
Garma.
Yeah, but it's obviously not right.
Where's the R? You fucking cretin. English words speak mouth.
Gamma.
It's like me with
Gamma Sutra.
Konami. It's not Konami, it's Konami, but I keep saying Konami. It's no fucking what the Jesus.
Although according to Rock Paper Shotgun, Games Workshop chatted about this with Game Austra. They spelled the name wrong. Head of licensing John Gillard explains that Games Workshop started rethinking their games way back in 2011. Firstly, we decided that we would focus on licensing the rights somebody needed to make the game or games they had an absolute plan to make, rather than the big all-encompassing deals for a huge section of IP, like all of Warhammer 40,000, for example. So that's basically what happened with Relic. Relic just had Warhammer 40k.
The license, yeah.
This combined with the rise of digital distribution and self-publishing, reducing reliance on monolithic publishers, means they have loads more people making Games Workshop games. He explains that unlike their physical games, which limit the amount of things they can make by simply taking up space, video games let them go wild. He tosses out a few ideas, saying we absolutely want to see massive spaceship battles based on Battlefleet Gothic, or a gang warfare game based on Necromunda. I would absolutely
which I think actually is confirmation that folks are doing it, because they were saying they think they're doing it, or some sort of Focus studio being published by Focus are doing it. So I think they are already doing that.
Or maybe,
because I bet you know what, that'll be like Mordheim. I bet you it'll be the guys who are making Mordheim.
Yeah. I'd be alright with that. Mordheim's not bad. Maybe a crazy violent racing game based on Gorka Morka. So that. Lost my cursor. There it is. For quite a while, we've been featuring Warhammer 40,000 games on the channel, and they've been Gash mobile ports or iOS ports, or they've just been not that good. I mean, the latest one was Death Watch, which
it was just.
I've actually had quite a few people contact me about that and go, "Oh, you're really harsh on it." If I was playing that on the iPad, I'd be fine with it, but I ain't playing it on the iPad, I'm playing it on the PC, and compared to other similar games on the PC, it's shit. It's just not as good. It's like, why would I play that if I could play XCOM? You just
exactly.
XCOM is a much more fleshed out game, but then it would be because Death Watch was developed for iOS. It wasn't developed for the PC. The problem with this is that, in a way, it's good because it means they're, giving licensing rights to different studios and different companies who want to make Warhammer 40,000 games, and that's fine. But for whatever reason, either people don't want to make proper No, proper Warhammer 40,000 games, PC, console games. You know, not iOS ports, nothing like that. Actual proper, you know, full experience games.
Well,
or they're not handing it out to those studios. Now, I have a hard time believing that there is no publisher and no studio other than Focus, because Focus is, you know, they've currently got Mordheim, they've got Battlefleet Gothic,
Blood Bowl.
as I say, Blood Bowl. I'd be really, really surprised if they didn't come out with Necromunda. And to be honest, I'd be surprised if they didn't come out with Gorka Morka, because Blood Bowl's been a massive success. Mordheim is doing okay. I think it'll do better when it launches, but it's doing okay. Battlefleet Gothic looks to be pretty good. They're also, in fact, yeah, Focus is also doing Space Hulk Ascension.
Yeah.
The Dark Angels Terminators first-person shooter, which obviously that's not going to be iOS port, is it?
Do you think there's an issue here though with Games Workshop? Like, we know that the 40k universe is massive, right?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, just focusing on 40k. Obviously, the fantasy universe was massive before they just wrecked it, but 40k is massive. Now, if you were a game studio and you were capable of making a game with the 40k license, and you had the vision to put a game together like that, would you really want to do that, or would you want to make your own thing? Like, I feel like if you've just got these, see, there are like the holy grail of 40k games would be some sort of RPG, wouldn't it? Where you play as a character, like
Inquisitor
you may be
as well. From the guys who did Van Helsing, although let's
say a proper Inquisitor game where you actually are an Inquisitor and it's an RPG like The Witcher or something. That would be fucking ridiculous if that was a game. Like, holy shit! But would a company willing to do that actually do that if they had the means to do it, when they could do their own thing instead of tying this after Games Workshop? And also another thing as well, Games Workshop, this indicates their profits, because that's where they're going. I mean, I've got their profits up here. That's why I was just typing. So this is their revenue, right? It was 123 million last year. Operating income was 12.3 million. The net income was 8 million. The total assets are 35 million. The total equity is 34 million. All of this is down from the year before, from 2013 end of year financial reports. These were the 2014 ones. That's bad.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that their damage limitation tactic has been spam, because look at all the model lines. How many new models come out for 40k now? Now, I'm not saying this is bad.
It's ridiculous.
Because hey, like, look over there, you can just kind of see there's a load of mechanical models there new this year. They were not out last year. Mechanicum was a great army to release, and they on the whole are pretty good. But you've got a load of other releases that have constantly come out this year, and it's like spam. How long can they keep up with this? And in my eyes, you get some questionable models. Like, I think the Tau Storm Surge is not a very nice model. I look at that and I think that's not very nice. But then I look at the Ghost Keel suit, and I'm like, that looks pretty good. What's going on here? Like, has that one been in development longer? Then suddenly they've just shat out a big model because it's big and it makes money. Now it's the same methodology or ideas that they put forward with the game stuff. Instead of having studios taking the entire license, which I think it does make sense to spread it around, but they're spreading it around to just the worst people. Like, if what he's saying is true, you can approach. If you could just walk up to Game Workshop now and go, right, guys, I run a mobile game studio. I've got no history. I've got no portfolio. I want to make a game of, I don't know, what would we make a game of?
Well, let's make a game
just come up with something.
Night Titans, for instance, because there's one of those coming out.
Yeah, there's one of those.
It's a mobile game. It's not.
Yeah.
This is the thing. I think people, in a way, you lose the ability to make the game 100% your own, because it would be in the 40k universe. You'd have to abide by all of their
and they're known for being terrible for this, because you have to keep running it through their teams, don't you, to make sure the continuity, the consistency, the whatever is there.
I can't remember there's a specific name for it, for like the actual style of the style of like a character or an animation or something associated with a brand. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like it's a proper sort of legal thing where it's like you own this image and variations upon it and stuff.
And you get brand guidelines as well, which say if it's a marine, it has to look like this. It can't look like this. Which there has been some weird ones, like Regicide uses true scale marines. If you look at them, but other games don't. And the true scale marine is not what they're selling in the tabletop.
No.
So why? You know, that's weird. Like,
it might be 30k stuff. They might be, but yeah. I think part of it though is, in a way, surely that would be of assistance to some studios. They've got an idea for a game. It would fit the 40k universe. They skip an entire process of world design, of character design, and they go straight in. And it's like, okay, well, this is going to be about this chapter. And yeah, they've got to model the Space Marines, but apart from a few variations, the models are all going to be the same. You know, the basic shapes are all going to be the same. The same. Yeah. It's like the thing that got me with Freeblade is it's a mobile game, but you're playing a Knight Titan. Why an Imperial Knight, whatever you want to call them? Why is that not like console and PC? If you said to someone, okay, so what you do in this game is you are in charge of a massive robotic walker that's got a huge chainsaw on one arm and a gun on the other.
They are not going to give their IP out to people who are going to butcher it. So why are they giving it out to the worst people possible? Because it just appears like it's being butchered. They're so protective of what they've got. Yeah, they're just giving it out to everyone. And these games are getting atrocious reviews. Is it just because, it's a mobile game, so it'll make money?
I think the problem is that what they're doing is they are giving it to people, and the people are taking the IP. They're not butchering the IP, they're butchering the game. I think that's the problem. I think Games Workshop is not distinguishing between what makes
a shit game,
what looks good for their IP and what looks good for a gamer. So if you look, for instance, at Deathwatch, visually, aside from the fact that you can only look from the top down, the Marines look like Space Marines. You know, they aside from some missing details on things like Space Wolves, they look like Marines from the chapters they are from. They've got little personalised touches, not as much as I'd like, but they fit with the Games Workshop IP. They are unmistakably Games Workshop models, but on the computer. The same goes for like Freeblade. The same goes for what was it, Warhammer Quest or whatever it was called.
Yeah,
This is stuff that is absolutely and accurately part of the Games Workshop IP, but they're just not very good games. But I don't think Games Workshop cares about that. I think that's the problem. They are so intent on keeping their image clean, making it so that everything that is Games Workshop branded looks like Games Workshop. You know it's Games Workshop. You play it, you know it's Games Workshop. Like Vermintide. Someone like if you know anything about Games Workshop, if you know anything about the Warhammer universe, you start playing that game and you're like, holy shit, this looks like Warhammer. Same thing with Mordheim. You play it and you're like, oh my god, this. It's
the same thing with Warhammer Online as well. Exactly the same. It's like, this looks exactly like what you'd expect it to look like. I mean, their IP makes them all the money, and they're overly protective of the way it looks. But like you said, I don't think they understand games, and they probably don't even understand why things like Dawn of War made them so much fucking money. They probably just were like, oh, we gave it out. Oh, we made a load of money.
Dawn of War 3 would fucking clean up.
Made a load of money.
It would absolutely clean up. People would go mental for that, and they've already got the stuff there. There's already plenty of stuff to work from. Things like, I mean, look at, what is it? Warhammer 40k Eternal. Is it Eternal Crusade? The MMO.
Oh,
I've not heard anything about that for quite a while, since one of their producers left and another guy turned up instead and was a bit weird or something.
That's.
But again, even if that turns out to be a shit game, it looks like Warhammer 40k, and I am 90% sure that that is the problem. That Games Workshop want their stuff to look like Games Workshop stuff, but they don't actually care about the product. They only care about the image. And as a result, companies are going to them and they're like, we've got this idea for a game, and they're going, oh yeah, okay, well you got to adhere to this guideline and this guideline. It's got to look like this, it's got to look like that. And the company's going away, they're coming back and they're going, okay, this is what we've got. And Games Workshop are going, no, we don't care how it plays. How does it look? They're showing them, brilliant, that looks like a Space Marine, off you go, do what you like. And then you just get endless mobile games. Just endless mobile games that don't translate to PC, don't translate to console. They don't sell very well because people, let's be honest, people who are playing stuff on their iPad as their main source of entertainment, generally speaking, probably not going to be 40k fans. Like, why would you play Deathwatch on your iPad if you're a fan of 40k and you, like, say, collect the models, for instance, instead of playing the models? You wouldn't. You'd be actually playing the game. If you've got a console with Space Marine on it, why would you play Deathwatch when you could play Space Marine? If you've got a PC with Dawn of War on it, why would you play Deathwatch when you could play Dawn of War or any other game that's remotely similar to it? You just wouldn't do it. But I don't think they even realise that that is part of the problem. I think it's just, oh, well, it's going well because all this stuff looks like our stuff. But that's not the mark of something that's worth buying. That's just the mark of the fact that you know how to design a fucking Space Marine. That's all it is.
Like my point of the spam of new models, the spam of games, the spam. It's like it is really diluting their brand. Like it's no longer when a Games Workshop game came out, it was like fucking hell. Like I remember when Space Marine came out, it was like It's not like you were getting a game every fucking week like you do now. It was like, oh, a new Games Workshop game, Space Marine.
It was the same with codexes.
And I tell you, you know what?
Like, oh my god, a new codex. Now it's just
Well, let's focus on games. So, Space Marine. You look at reviews of Space Marine, and it's like, oh, it's just another like, third-person bloody brawler, linear, running around, chopping things, shooting things, doesn't even have cover, blah blah blah. Off reviews. Yet, if you're a Games Workshop fan, like me and like you play that game and you're like, holy fuck. This is exactly how a Space Marine would be. And you're like, wow, this is great. This is a great game. We love the lore. We know what Space Marines are. We're running around as Captain Titus and we're just fucking wrecking people. And he's a captain and he's got a Sarge with him and he's got that fucking Leandros bastard with him who's just a scumbag.
Fuck you, Leandros.
The Codex Astartes does not support this action. Fuck you, Leandros. Just jump out the fucking thing anyway. But that's exactly what you would expect. And that was even like the voice actor that got to do Leandros, that is not Leandros, Titus, is exactly what you would expect him to sound like, because it's British. They would not be American. They would be overly British, because that's what it is. And you play the game and you're like, wow, it's not a long game. After you've played it, you're like, okay, shit, quick time event at the end. The combat, let's be honest, is fairly simplistic, and the weapons, whatever, but it sounds good. It looks like it is, and you feel like a Space Marine. That's a good game. Playing Free Blade or fucking Warhammer Quest, all that shit, you're like, this is shit. What am I doing with my life? And you don't play anymore.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. That is it. That is fucking it. You've either got to make a game which appeals to get people in outside of the IP, or make a game like Space Marine where people inside the IP piss themselves when they play it with excitement, not fear.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you got to do. So fuck off Games Workshop. Hire me, 100 grand a year.
And me, I'll take the same.
Yeah, he can be my assistant, but I demand to be paid more than him. He can have 99,999. Yeah.
So we're going to move on. We're going to
and I want a bigger office than him.
Also, free models for life.
Yeah, I want to be able to just walk through the production area and just take things, even if they're like pre-production stuff.
And I'll take as an incentive a Warlord Titan.
3.
But someone else can put it together for me, because I can't be asked. I'll paint it, but someone else can put it together. Also, buy me an airbrush. Thanks, Games Workshop. Blizzard have done a thing. They've released Overwatch. No, they haven't. They've put Overwatch into closed beta. And Blizzard is having to warn, as they always do, because people never fucking learn. Blizzard warns against fake Overwatch keys. Now, I'm including this partially as a warning in case any of you are daft enough to fall into this trap. Beta, it says in massive caps, beta. Overwatch beta keys do not exist. Be cautious of any emails, websites, or individuals that claim to offer them. So Blizzard Customer Service has had to explain that everything related to Overwatch beta access will be handled internally. Accounts will be flagged from our end, and emails will be sent to players who have access to the beta, letting them know. There's no mention in either timeline of any particular beta key scam, but a quick search reveals several sites and at least one Facebook page, and they're sensibly not linking to it, thanks PC Gamer, that promise to either deliver keys or explain how to get them. One site requires a tool, either online or downloadable, be run to generate the key, which I would strongly, very strongly, urge you not to do. So this happens every beta for every Blizzard game. It happened for Hearthstone, it happened for Heroes of the Storm, it happened for every WoW expansion, literally every single one. It's happened for Overwatch, where people get together and they go, oh, they're sending out the first wave of invites, they don't get into the first wave of invites, as if you look at the Overwatch subreddit, you will find that people once again are salty as fuck about.
Okay, so why it's so funny. So, right, like Kiri said, there's no keys. So what happens is your account just gets flags and you can play. Yeah. Now, there's people on the subreddit going crazy. There's people on Twitter going crazy. There's people on the forums going crazy, and they say things like, "Why don't I have access? I'm a real Blizzard fan. these guys who have access are not fans. Or then you get the streamer hate. They've only got access because they're streamers. Then you get the YouTuber hate. They've only got access because they're YouTubers and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yes, that is the reason why they have access. That's why we have access, because we make videos that people see. These people then want to play the game. It's called free advertising. We want to play the game. We want to make videos on it. It costs Blizzard nothing. And yes, it's quite a good trade for Blizzard, isn't it? That's why they're giving the keys out.
I've just found an icon that suits this perfectly, so I'm just going to switch over to the desktop quickly whilst you talk.
You mean a wallpaper?
So you can see it. Yeah, a wallpaper.
I already tweeted this out earlier on. If the salt icon, is it?
Yeah. I'll just put it on the desktop for a sec.
Yeah, I tweeted that out earlier on, and I was like, look at the state of this. And it's at the top of that Reddit, and it's pretty funny. But it is just full of people going, why don't I have access? I mean, if I went to on Twitch, the Overwatch directory, and there's people just streaming saying, Blizzard, please give me access. And it's just got their like Battle.net ID. It's a stream. And I'm like, it's weird seeing that kind of stuff going on. But I have been told that Blizzard are going to really ramp up this. It's not going to be a closed selective beta. I mean, there already feels like there's a lot of people in there, doesn't there? Because me and you, I've seen people going, oh, it takes streamer 15 minutes to get a game. And I'm thinking, no, it don't. Games come pretty quick. There's some examples. I mean, you were playing earlier on in the day yesterday, and it took maybe 5 minutes or something for a team to come through. But that's because me and you were playing in a group. But on your own, it puts you into games straight away. So, yeah. But I guess I don't want to go into too much detail on this because we could talk a lot about. See, my brain is destroyed. I've done too much crap these last few days. We'll talk about this in podcast, but
basically is people want access to this stuff so badly that they kind of suspend their common sense for a bit, and they get desperate, and it's like, oh, I've got an email, this must be it. And that's not how it works. That's never how Blizzard has done it. Blizzard are one of the few companies that just don't do things like the keys. They don't send stuff to you. It's all done through your Battle.net account. It's all just activated, and there's nothing to input. It just happens. Now, I think part of the confusion is people do things like they'll buy like World of Warcraft or something. It'd be like, oh, here's your CD key or whatever. That's different. That's a retail game. That's something that you have exchanged money for, and that is already released. They just don't do betas that way. The other thing, and this, you touched on it earlier, where people are like, oh, I'm a true fan of Blizzard. I'm a big fan. I've played World of Warcraft for the last 18 years since I came out of the womb. And I've
got 20 years of experience.
I played Hearthstone for 20 hours every day. Where the fuck is my invite?
Yeah, that is exactly it. I've played Warcraft for 10 years. I've spent 500 quid on Hearthstone. Where's my fucking beta access? And you're like,
I hate to break it to you, but you're not special for that, because thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of other people have done exactly the same. And if Blizzard pushed the betas to the true fans of Blizzard, I am the true fan of Blizzard. I've been to every BlizzCon. I once nestled in Morheim's neckfat or whatever.
In his bosom.
In his bosom. I suckled upon him. Then the beta wouldn't be a beta. It would just launch. Now, you could argue that it's kind of a soft launch anyway.
Yeah.
But there still isn't... like, the entire population of Battle.net doesn't have access, which is what will happen when it launches. Not comparatively, hardly anyone's got access. And if they gave it to everyone who claimed to be the biggest Blizzard fan ever and have got the logo tattooed on the inside of their eyeball, then you'd all have access. But
does that mean you could see it through your own eye, but nobody else could see it?
Yeah,
on the inside of your eyeball.
Put it just down there, so that everything you look at has got a Blizzard watermark in the bottom right. What a terrible idea. But yeah. That's just not how it works. And you can
how would you even tattoo the inside of an eyeball?
I don't know.
Hang on, we've got to go deeper.
I've seen someone who've had their actual eyes tattooed.
Like I've seen that, but we're talking inside.
Crazy.
What? Well, we're going to like open it up.
You cut it, you peel it back, and then you tattoo, and then you put it back down again. We're not going to talk about this anymore because it's making me feel a bit sick. I hate eye stuff. But yeah, and the other thing as well is that there are a lot of people who do the whole kind of, oh, this person's just a streamer. They're just this person. They're just that person.
Yeah.
I know it probably sucks because you've played Blizzard games all your life and you obviously deserve it far more than anyone else in the world. But a big part of getting your game to be successful is intelligent promotion. And giving it to you with your computer from 8 years ago and your no stream, no YouTube channel, and 4 Battle.net friends, it's not going to help them promote the game. And that sounds like a dickhead thing to say, but that's how they think. That's how that's how they operate. That's how all companies operate. When a game goes into beta, when a game has limited access, like early access or whatever, when people get their copies first, it's not because they've asked nicely or because they've played the previous games for an ungodly number of hours. It's because they're in a position to influence other people. And so when you sit there and go, oh, the Overwatch beta is out and all these famous streamers are streaming it, but I don't have a key. Well, and you say, why? You've answered your own question. It's because all these famous streamers are famous streamers, and they are providing Blizzard with like 70,000 potential player opportunities compared to the one guaranteed player that you already are. Like, by sending it to Lyric and him streaming it to 70,000 people, they've got like 70,000 potential new people interested in the game. If they send it to you, you are already going to play it. You're not going to show anyone. You're just going to play it, and that's going to be it. So, it sounds harsh, and it's not. You're probably not going to think it's fair, but that's just how it works, and that's how they operate, and that's how all these companies operate. And if you don't like it now, I can tell you with absolute certainty, it's going to get worse. Like, you need to get over it now, because
the way Blizzard have adopted this is quite. I didn't expect them to do it as much. I mean, hell, we've got access to it. We're not fucking some A-list streamer or A-list YouTuber, but we got access to it. That to me was there was a point where I said to Kiri, like, obviously, we approach companies and say that we'd like to play your game, blah blah blah. I was like, it would be nice to get Overwatch, but I doubt we will. And then when they said on the 27th, it's just NA, I'm thinking, well, we're not NA, so. But then Blizzard, for whatever reason, said, no, we're going to give it you as well on the 27th to Europe.
Yeah.
And then did give it to us. And I was like, wow, okay. But they've given it to a lot of people, a lot of streamers and a lot of YouTubers. But it's still, that's nothing. It's just a drop in the ocean player base-wise. But like Kiri said, the whole point is, it is advertising. And believe it or not, they do provide feedback. I mean, I've been specifically told by Blizzard, by a Blizzard employee, that they prefer video feedback to written because they can see the problem. So if you show a dev and say, like, for example, I think Tracer is slightly OP because her E, where she rewinds time, rewinds her back to the point in time she just came from. So what that means is if you had a full health, jumped in and attacked somebody, then rewind, you get full health again because you've been rewound back in time. So she's got a lot of sustain, and I think that's a bit too much given how fast she is, because she can get to the health. So I could say that, but also I can show how it is a little bit OP because I can jump into a Reinhardt,
you can stitch a video together that is like,
he can hit
made
me.
up entirely.
Well, I'm explaining it. Yeah. So I could jump into a Reinhardt, shoot him. He hits me with his thing, which like takes me down 3/4 of health. I press E, go back to full health, jump back on him again, and keep shooting him. It's like what? This is like. So that's feedback, and also Reaper's bullshit and OP. But anyway, we'll talk about this later. But yeah, it's just, you've got to understand, guys. I know you may be the biggest fans of the game ever, and it might be bullshit that you don't have access, but it's not random. I think when Blizzard said it's random was not fair. It is not random. They're selecting people. In fact, I've got emails that have been sent to me from them saying, do you want to get people into the beta? But it's not get your fans into the beta, it's get other streamers or YouTubers into the beta, send them this email, and we can sort them out. And it's like, that doesn't mean, like, I would like to say, right, let's get 100 of our viewers into the beta or something. Yeah. That's not what they want. They still want people to advertise the game and make content on the game, even at this early stage, because the game is very polished. But anyway, we'll talk about this later.
Yeah. On to slightly better news for those who are big fans of stuff that isn't out yet. No Man's Sky has finally got a release date.
Oh my god.
It is set for June 2016. So you still get to wait, what, 8 months? 9 months? Something like
Christ.
that. So yeah.
It feels like this has been around for years, doesn't it? And I guess it has, hasn't it?
So yeah, yesterday in front of a packed crowd of Sony Play people, an exciting new space video announcing that No Man's Sky will be launching in June 2016. And point out, it's nowhere near as you think it is. It's like half a year away. There's no word.
It's more than half a year, I guess. 216 days.
Yeah, I just got myself confused. So I was scrolling down because I was like, I'm sure there was a day count, but then I made that up in my head. But
well, I'm still totally watching this video right now. I didn't know this was a thing. Ahead. showed a big ship, like a bigger ship.
Yeah, well, they've had the larger ships in a couple of trailers now, I think.
Are they? Well, actually piloting them?
No, just
No.
in the area. But yeah, I still I saw something right the other day, and it made me laugh because it summed up to me everything, like every problem I have with No Man's Sky, which is just a lack of actual proper information. Someone on Reddit was like asking about, well, hang on, I don't really know that much about No Man's Sky. I've watched a few of the trailers, but I'm still not entirely sure what's going on.
Yeah.
And someone said, well, the problem is they haven't explained it properly. It's a dog-fighting space sim. It's all about combat.
Hmm.
And I was like,
Not.
What? Sorry,
or is it?
What?
I mean, are we confused? It's about exploration, isn't it?
Now, they were corrected, but more than one person said that that's what they thought it was.
Right.
Like, at this point, I know we're months away from release, but the game has been talked about for a long time at this point.
Yeah.
There's been plenty of trailers. There's been plenty of interviews with the developer. Hell, the guy was on, what's his name, Colbert, for God's sake.
Yeah,
And
which was a really good interview.
Yeah, and still people are going, oh, that's what I think this game's about. This, and other people having to go, no, it's not about that. No, it's exploration. You'll hardly see anybody else. And they're going, oh, well, I thought it'd be something I could play with my friends. No, you probably won't find your friends. If you do, it'd take you ages to get there. Oh, I thought it was about dogfighting. No, it's not really about dogfighting. It's still that same problem. They're just not spreading information. And I know that a big part of it is probably they want to keep the mystery. You know, they want to keep it so that when you play the game, instead of, because let's face it, you look at things like Assassin's Creed Syndicate, you look at Call of Duty, you look at Battlefront, Battlefield, whatever, and the entire game is there in the 2-minute trailer. You know exactly what's going to happen. You know how everyone's going to die. You know what weapons are in it. Whose voices you're hearing. You know everything. There is nothing left to the imagination. Whereas No Man's Sky is basically all about the imagination because it's going out and exploring and finding new places and all that kind of thing. So they're obviously trying to keep that kind of mysterious kind of, I guess, the sense of wonder when you first load up the game. They're trying not to ruin that. But the problem with doing that is that people still seem to be confused as to what the game is and what it's about and what to expect when they play it. And I know they've now got until June to actually to set those any misgivings aside and actually tell people what it's about, but they've not done a great job of it so far. And the game is being hyped considerably, and it's being hyped far too much for people to still not be 100% sure as to what the game is. Like,
I mean, if even we've got a problem, like we know it's about exploration, but we don't know how much combat is involved. We don't know what we can do. Is the game seriously just about flying around randomly and discovering stuff? Because if it is, it's going to get boring pretty quick. But if there's like factions in the game, and maybe you could be a combat pilot, maybe you could be a guy who explores stuff, but we don't even know. So it's like we just don't know. It's like
I think it's definitely a problem. It's definitely a problem, and
for sure.
That's the thing that kind of. Well, as I said in the video I made God knows how long ago, like probably a year ago or something now, that is the biggest issue, and that could be the thing that kills No Man's Sky. The fact that people still don't really know what to expect. Like, don't give 100% of the game away, obviously, but give us something. Give us something a little bit more. We know how the planets are generated. We know that it's the same size as our universe, and it would take until the heat death of our universe to explore their universe, all that stuff. And that's all really impressive. And I'm not being flippant. It is.
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for like the YouTube videos of a guy who's been playing the game for 10 years, and he's just flew in one direction.
Oh, like the guy who walks. What's the guy who just walks
the Minecraft
in
guy?
Yeah. That'll be a thing. Surely that'll be a thing. But yeah, so now you can set your calendars. You can write it down. June of 2016, we will finally know what No Man's Sky actually is, and hope that it works, because people are going to be really pissed off if it doesn't.
Imagine if it's a disaster.
Oh God. Now we did have something else as well, which is everything we need to know about BlizzCon, which is in a week and a half or something.
What is
a week and a half?
What do we need to know about BlizzCon though? Because they're not going to announce any games.
This is the thing. I put it down. And then I was like, "What?"
Well, I think
Hearthstone?
okay.
What?
Yeah.
Overwatch will be there, obviously.
Well, yeah, they'll talk something about Hearthstone, where there be some sort of upcoming thing or some crap for that. I'm not a fan. I don't care. Although it's an enjoyable game, but I'm like, it's not for me. Although at one point in time, I think I was the 5th biggest streamer for that game. Never forget.
R.I.P.
Yeah, and it's dead funny when you look at it, right? I got this picture, and there's like me, there's like Amaz, there's Trump, there's somebody called Archon, and a couple of other guys. Now, if you look at them now, they're like these well, we all know who Trump is, and like Amaz, they're like 100,000 views on the stream. I'm like, crazy. But I never really could get into that game, to be fair. It frustrated me after a bit. But anyway, Overwatch, we'll probably see launch date, which will probably be next year, I reckon. Or they might be sooner. And probably an announcement as to what the hell the game, like free to play, how it's going to be done. Because I don't think we still know, do we? We just know it's.
So. I'm assuming that it's free to play.
But how are they going to monetize it though? Because
I think it'll just be the same system as Heroes of the Storm. It'll just be skins.
Well, that's what I want to see. Because I'd buy skins all day for this game.
I
totally run around as Tracer in some sort of stupid
I would
skin.
absolutely fall into the same trap that I did with League of Legends and spend far too much money on skins. I know I would.
Yes, but that's okay. It's okay if you're enjoying the game, though. Like, that's what I can't see Blizzard having, if it is free to play, having, like, ridiculous game-breaking bullshit or anything like that coming in.
I want a massive medieval knight Reinhardt skin. That's what I want.
So, Heroes of the Storm. Probably some other kind of thing. I mean, they're going through the Diablo stuff, aren't they, at the moment for that?
Yeah.
Or is it StarCraft? I don't know, bro. That game. I mean, we went through a phase of enjoying that game, but it's just like now it just seems like who the hell plays Heroes of the Storm? I don't really see mega viewers on Twitch for the esports stuff. It's I don't know, bro. It just seems.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I don't know.
StarCraft 2. Well, it'll be Legacy of the Void. Bit of talk, and then that game's gone because then that's the end of its lifespan. And World of Warcraft will just be more the expansion.
More of the old dear
look, Illidan.
Let's quick fix it expansion.
Illidan, Demon Hunter, GG.
Illidan. That's going to be the entire presentation. Illidan, be Demon Hunter. Sorry.
And everybody will have
Overwatch.
Ashbringer.
Ashbringer looks terrible. I was going to say it, but I don't even care. It looks terrible.
Some of them look quite good, though, the fancy models of it. But everybody will have it. Anyway, moving on.
So we're going to go on to Payday 2. Angry Payday 2 players. This may be
I see a fucking Kojima article, and I refuse to take part in a discussion.
Oh, no, that was just something that I put in because
I fucking refuse, bro. I've closed the tab.
Angry Payday 2 players have launched a parody site. And they've ripped into the lead dev on Reddit.
I see bits of this. Yeah. He was giving like politician answers of that. You're not answering the question. Did you see that actually in the House of?
Let me switch back over.
The House of Commons. Did you see that?
Yes.
Where that Corbyn bloke is asking him the same question 6 times over.
He gets 6 questions, and he just asked him the same question every time. I really like that. That was straight out of Paxman. That was. It was like he's answered the question. I'll just fucking ask the question again, and they didn't answer it, so he asked him again and again and again. I liked that because so far all he's done is ask other people's questions, but not follow them up. With his like Karen from Sussex has asked me to ask you and all that kind of thing. Which on the one hand is like, okay, that's kind of good because people are actually getting the questions asked to the Prime Minister, except the Prime Minister's a cunt, so he won't answer it.
And he just doesn't answer them anyway.
Yeah.
He's just like,
I really like the fact that this time it's like, so what was it? Can you tell us that any child affected by tax credit cuts won't be worse off? And Karen avoided it, and he was like, I'll ask again. And then he avoided it. I'll ask again. And he just kept doing it. It's just like, yes, excellent. Continue. Just keep going. Although someone did say that if they're going to be properly pedantic about it, technically he only asked one question, but he asked it 6 times. And you're supposed to be able to have 6 questions, so they should have given him another 5.
The whole House of Commons is a fucking joke anyway.
Yeah, terrible.
Hey, my tiger. That fucking bloke with his tiger. Any chance you could help me, Prime Minister? My tiger or whatever.
The tiger in the zoo is
what the shit
dying or something.
Anyway, but don't you think Prime Minister sounds solid? I am the Prime Minister.
Yeah, but it used to be a piss take title.
And I know, but it sounds solid now.
Yeah, it does now. But it's just
Prime
kind of funny that it
Minister.
was like it was an insult, but now it's the leader of the country, who is also an insult. So this is Payday 2.
We apologise for the insult we have caused on the global stage.
They launched a parody site because the guy went onto Reddit. He didn't ask me anything, or an AMA, and people were asking him, "What the fuck are you playing at? Why have you done this? Why have you done that?" And he was not receptive to the criticism, shall we say?
No, he wasn't.
Someone asked how Overkill Squared promises that all content will be free with the introduction of the drill microtransactions on CrimeFest first day, and he replied, "We thought and still think that this is a great addition to the game. We have a system that everyone can participate in, where players can earn actual money while playing Payday 2. If you don't want to purchase anything, that's completely fine, as you can just sell what you get and continue focusing on the core experience of Payday 2. Meanwhile, the added funds allow us to continue making the game better and better all the time." Which is genuinely a proper politician's answer. I mean, the shorthand of it is that it did not work. People were not satisfied with what he said, understandably so, because Crime Fest was supposed to be a thing where the community played the game a shit ton and unlocked rewards, and the reward was giving the company more money for potential skins for weapons that they don't own. That's not how you do that. That's not how you introduce microtransactions. That's just a terrible idea all around. And he's not helping himself by kind of saying, "Oh, well, we still think it's a good idea," because it's fairly obvious at this point that it's not. The game's review ratings have been absolutely slammed on Steam now. It used to be a positively rated game. Now it's been absolutely killed into the negative. Even Metacritic scores are dropping for it. Yeah. People who have been involved in the community for years have just left. They've just upped and fucked off. They've just gone, nope.
And he said, I hope you come back. Did they? Maybe they will come back. I thought they're not coming back. Go away.
They're not coming back. They have successfully, in one fell move, killed that game, I think. I would be really shocked if we heard anything more about it after this has settled down, simply because no one is going to carry on playing it. It'll just be gone. And as for people making parody sites to take the piss out of them, I say in a way I approve because it's kind of funny. In another, I think they've probably had enough at this point because the game is dead. No one wants to play it. It's been slammed everywhere and all the community leaders are just leaving. But I suppose if they still haven't got the hint, maybe another little prod might help. Who knows? Probably not. They seem to have just buckled down, haven't they? They're like, no, that's what we decided. Piss off. We're not going to change it. No, go away. Yeah. Ignoring it. Terrible. Oh god. So you know what, I'll just touch on that Kojima thing very quickly, but only quickly.
I refuse to comment.
My webcam just flickered. I don't know why. This is not actually anything negative for once, and it's not crying about how good Metal Gear Solid 5 was, and it's not whining about the fact that PT isn't being turned into a full game anymore, and it's nothing about Konami being evil, which is frankly refreshing because
wow,
dear god,
is it about pachinko machines?
It is not about pachinko machines.
Oh,
what it is
what is a pachinko machine?
It's one of them slot machine things. Probably.
It's not a one-armed bandit, is it?
One-armed bandit.
That's not me going, yeah, like that's me playing the one-armed bandit. But if I got a fucking money, give me the fucking triple apple.
The triple apple?
You know, at the Chippy by me when I was a kid, they used to have a fucking slot machine like that in there. And you go in there.
What? In a Chippy?
Yeah, you'd order your chips, man. Fucking put 10p in it.
Right. Anyway.
And also, do you ever remember the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire machine? Where it was like a computer, but then you could just cheat with your phone when phones got decent. And then it disappeared.
Yes, there was one in that.
You could win money. You could win like 20 quid on it, couldn't you, or something?
Yeah.
Google the answers dead quick. Get your laptop out.
That thing got removed really quite quickly.
It's not very clever.
So this is... It's a bit of an old... I say it's an old story. It is and it isn't. Do you remember Escape from LA and Escape from New York? Remember those films with Kurt Russell?
I know Kurt Russell is, but I've never seen them films.
You've never seen those films?
Don't think so. Let me Google it. What are they called?
Escape from New York and Escape from LA. If you haven't seen those films, you're a disgrace to the human race. And you should be taken out back and beaten to death immediately.
John Carpenter, Escape from New York. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Done.
You've not seen... Right, well, your homework is to find them on Netflix and watch them then, for fuck's sake.
In 1997, when the US president crashed into Manhattan, now a giant maximum security prison, a convicted bank robber is sent in to rescue him.
Yep. Yeah. Bloke.
Oh.
Don't mock. It's a fucking quality film.
Right, now I've just realised, because there's a guy on our forum who has got the Kurt Russell with the eye patch as his avatar. Yeah. I never knew what that was from. No, I've never seen him.
That's disgusting. You make me sick. So Kojima was inspired by Escape from New York and pretty much based Solid Snake on him.
Okay.
You can tell by the fact that they looked pretty much the same. And also in... which game was it? It was one of the Metal Gear Solid games. Maybe the second one? Where you play the little bitch riding guy. Not Guns of the Patriots. Something the last Patriot or something.
Isn't he the guy who's the fucking one in Revenge?
He's the mental one. He was in. I don't think it was the second Metal Gear Solid. It might have been the third one, but it was something to do with Patriots. And he comes across Solid Snake because Solid Snake has been inserted onto the same oil rig that he's on. And he comes across him, and Solid Snake sat on some steps, and he's like just sitting there, and they kind of ask names and stuff, and Solid Snake goes, "The name's Pliskin." And the name of the main character from Escape from New York is Snake Plissken. So it's like it's not even a subtle reference. It's just that's what my character was based on. And they were someone wanted to sue Kojima. Someone who was responsible for making the film.
What the hell?
Wanted to sue Kojima for ripping off Escape from New York. And Carpenter said no. So Carpenter said that one of the rights holders to his 1981 film wanted to also go after the video game Metal Gear Solid, which is kind of a rip-off of Escape from New York, and no such legal action was taken. Why? I know the director of those games, and he's a nice guy, or at least he's nice to me. So there you go. Kojima is a nice chap, and his niceness prevented him from getting sued by the rights holder of Escape from New York because he wanted to go after him for making Metal Gear Solid, because Solid Snake is essentially Snake Plissken without the eye patch at first. So there you go. The only positive news about Kojima to come out for the last 18 years. All hail the fallen god Kojima and his wondrous creations of Metal Gear Solid 5. Good for web.
No, don't you dare say that. You'll get slaughtered.
The Old Republic has awoken.
Ha! Yes, Mr. Kirioth. I want to play this. Is this not weird? Is this like?
So there's a new story
I'm getting
expansion.
Slowly fucking mullered by Star Wars.
By Star Wars hype.
Yeah.
You're getting overtaken gradually by Star Wars.
When I got my hair cut the other day, the first thing the barber said to me, "Have you ordered your advance tickets?" That's what he said to me. And I sat in a chair and I went, "But," he said, "to Star Wars." I went, "No." He went, "What?" I was like,
I think everyone's ordered them now. I haven't ordered them, but everyone else has, allegedly. But yeah, there's a new story
and you know what
expansion.
You know what he did when he was cutting my hair? Right, imagine this is he's got like this little remote trimmer just for trimming. And he was holding it. He was talking to me. And he went, "Yeah, oh, yeah." I was like, "What?" But he fixed it. He put it into the side of my head. I mean, Christ. It's like a random wedge cut out of my head.
I thought it was supposed to look like that. Anyway, there's a new.
I look all right then.
There's a new expansion, Knights of the Fallen Empire, and it's a story-based thing, and apparently it's sort of episodic in a way. But I have to admit, whenever I see stuff about the Old Republic, it makes me want to try it again.
Well, it's free to play, isn't it? But it's very restrictive free to play.
Yeah, yeah. I think though, I think part of that as well though is down to Star Wars hype. Realistically,
well, it's obviously why it's coming out at this time.
Realistically, I'd play it for a little bit and then I'd be like, and then I'd go back to playing Overwatch. But I still want to try it. But I know it's just because I've watched the Force Awakens trailers.
Well, you're playing Destiny. What are you playing now?
I've stopped playing. Well, no, we'll talk about this in podcast. Shut up. One last thing before we go. Speaking of podcast. Would you like, sir, a nice, delicious Fallout 4 or Call of Duty Black Ops 3 beer? I mean, the Black Ops one is a special... I won't do it. I was going to steal your joke.
Do we know what brewery this... No, you're not stealing my joke. Fuck you. Because I sent you the link to this and I was like... Black Ops 3... I'm going to just get it out of the way.
Not to spoil it, not to steal the joke.
I'll let you take it, Flo. I've got to Google something. I'll let you take it.
No. You
do it.
It's all yours because I've actually got the names of the beers right in front of me. So
I was Googling that. So okay. So I'm at a loss to as why they would have a Black Ops 3 beer because their player base is 12 years old. They can't actually buy the beer. So who is this going to?
It's going to the parents of the kids so they can get wasted whilst the child shouts about how they fucked.
But are they going to get wasted?
Because
what they're actually buying is bottles of condensed piss.
Well,
from the local sewerage plant.
It's Black Hops Brewing. is doing
Who
the
are they?
Call of Duty one, and they are producing Black Ops Midnight Pale Ale.
It's an Australian company.
Well, hang on. Has announced a partnership with Activision for a Call of Duty Black Ops 3 inspired beer called Black Ops Midnight Pale Ale. So it doesn't even got nothing to do with fucking with Call of Duty, has it? It's not named after it or anything. It's just a beer.
That's well, it is Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Black Hops, they call it. Midnight Pale Ale. It's on the website. You can see it.
Oh,
the
no.
whole website.
Oh, Black Hops. I get it.
Yeah, bloke. Fucking hell.
Get it at all?
You've been drinking. Right, where's the Fallout beer? Fallout beer. Who the fucking hell made this?
Carlsberg. Son, I told you I've got all the answers here. I've got all the answers.
It's fucking crap then, ain't it?
So, yeah, Carlsberg is making Fallout 4 beer. And
They're not actually making Fallout 4 beer, guys, and you're a cabbage if you've bought this, because all they're doing is getting a bottle of Carlsberg and putting a Fallout wrapper on it.
I can't believe I didn't get Black Hops.
Has it got the bottle top? If it's got the bottle top, then it would be worth buying, because that'd be like little collector's things, you know, the
but
caps,
the bottle top
Nuka.
would have to be Nuka-Cola, which
I know,
doesn't
it would
make
make
any
sense, would it?
So still don't buy it. It's still terrible.
My plan was shit. It's terrible, guys, and you're terrible if you've bought it. You'd be better off buying Tesco $2 piss water fucking horror show cider.
Don't you take the piss out of the pear cider? It's okay.
No, it's shit.
It's not nice. It's not nice, but it's okay.
Shit, mate.
It's drinkable.
It's all right if you're a pisshead and you can't get any super tenants. What is with that? What is with that with pissheads walking around drinking super tenants? Super strength lager in it. Yeah.
Super tenants. I just want to see what the alcohol. 9%.
9%. Fucking hell.
Fuck me.
So it is quite super then.
9%.
Bloody
lager.
Scottish. Fucking hell.
What?
9%. That's quite. Ladies and gentlemen, you're probably down with alcohol percentages, but 9% in a lager in a can of that size.
That's
pretty
mental.
fucking strong. That's pretty strong. That's like. That's. I mean, it's usually about 4%, ain't it?
Yeah.
If
yeah.
that.
Like lager's like 4.1. I mean, I had a cider on the last Drunksmith stream, which was 8.4, and that tasted pretty strongly of alcohol to me. Fucking 9%.
Let's do a super tenant stream and just drink super tenants. One can will be enough. We'll start speaking Scottish.
God, 9%. Jesus. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of Hotfix. We have reached the final countdown. As always, if you wanted to, don't look at me like that. Yeah, go away. If you wanted to support the show, then you can click up there where my finger's pointing. Up there. A little bit up there. Probably. If that's still present at this length of the video, I can never remember how that bit works. Or it's always in the description. There's always a linky down there in the description every single time without fail. If you can support the show, $1 would be amazing. Anything more would be delightful in every way. And you will get a shout out at the next show if you do so. And you need to come back on Saturday and watch the podcast as well, because it's delightful and nice and everything spicy. What? We're going to go away now before I lose my mind. Except we've got to record podcast, so it's only going to get worse.
We've got to remember to name podcast as well.
Oh, yeah,
bye, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye-bye.